guys. I'm going to talk about some music today. Alright, I'm going to start recording my thoughts for posterity. Because I'm getting older. I'm going to be 40 years old. And today we're going to talk about music, okay? Music is important, okay? Classifying things is important, I think. I'm kind of scientific with it. But if anybody who knows me out there, you know that I've been a musician almost my whole damn life, okay? I started playing in concert band when I was in the third grade with a clarinet. And even before that, it was recorders and drums and banging on shit. And ever since then, I have been a musician. And, you know, started out as an amateur, and now I get paid to sing and play guitar. So, you know, you tell me what that is. I've sold songs to ABC. I've been published. My music's been on Fox and movies and commercials, and I make jingles for people for fun. And I still play in a band to this day. And we're going to talk about some music. We're going to talk specifically about Old Town Road. Alright, today is August 29th, 2024. I'm gonna take my horse to the Old Town Road. I'm gonna ride Killer Crane no more. Okay, that song, a lot of people classified as, oh, that's a lot of sun. Holy shit. Edit that out. A lot of people classified that song as country, okay? And I'm not like married to the genre or anything, and you know, I've played tons of different kinds of genres. I've played pretty much all of them besides metal. I've never been in a metal band before, but I've played metal songs. I know I've listened to metal and I can identify it, okay? That was the whole thing. It got misidentified. Everybody was like trying to gaslight me and tell me that that was a country song. It was a rap song the whole time, and here's why. All right, let's talk about the construction, okay? The nuts and bolts of music. Let's start with country, because it's kind of like one of the easiest ones to identify. Country, you have country instruments, like you have fiddles, you have guitars, you got the pedal steel guitar, you have a person singing very simple who, what, when, where lyrics, okay? But let me start this real early. Lyrics don't make a song, okay? Lyrics do not make a song. Lyrics, you can think of the lyrics kind of as like another instrument in the song. The singing doesn't fucking matter, okay? It's the nuts and bolts of music, it's the bare bones, okay? So country, you've got a 1-4-5 chord, so you got a tonic, you got a dominant and subdominant 1-4-5, okay? So for like the key of C, that's C major, F major, G major, right? Back to C. All right, and that's kind of it. That's like 90% of country music is those like three chords, 1, 4, and 5. Okay, and then you got guitar, bass, drums. You usually have some person singing about who, what, when, where, and why. Okay, it's not very abstract. It's like there's not a ton of distant meaning to it. Like, yes, love songs, you know, definitely love songs. That's an abstract idea, you know, being lonely, stuff like that. But the lyrics, you know, the other instruments, the lyrics tend to describe an abstract thing with concrete objects. Like, well, she walked out that door and she was wearing a black dress. She wasn't smiling, you know, stuff like that. Like you describe the scene. There's a lot of context in country music, and that kind of goes on to the next music that I want to talk about is folk music. Okay, folk music can be very simple, like country music, three chords and the truth, or it can be very complex and have a lot of, you know, abstract things in it, and the chords can usually vary. You can have like 1, 4, 5. You can also have 2, 3, and 6, and you can have sometimes you can have 7 chords, but not very often. Major 7, flat 7 chords, okay, and diminished 7. You don't really get into the jazz world with folk, but folk is a much broader form of music than country. Folk can be played very, very fast, like bluegrass, or it can be played very slow. There's a lot more instruments, okay? Like folk, you can pretty much bring any instrument to the table, like pianos and, keys and lots of percussions, dulcimers, wango bangos, all kinds of shit. You can put it into folk music. But country is primarily like a few different instruments. Folk, you got a lot more. Let's talk about rock. Rock, very simple chord structures, okay? We're talking 5 chords, power chords, AC/DC chords. That's what most of rock is, okay? Bass lines that are like just 8 notes. And then a girl or a guy singing, either abstract things or very concrete things, like abstract. Just another manic Monday. Wish it was Sunday. Kind of abstract, right? Like you'd have to be like a 9-to-5 person to even know what the hell that song means. Okay, like take that song to like, I don't know, India or Africa, or like they'll be like, "What is this song?" All right, or it could be very concrete, like "Bang, bang, I hit the sack. It's been too long. I've been to be back. Yes, I'm let loose from the noose." Like that sounds like about having money again, back in black, baby. All right. Then let's get on to like metal. Okay, metal. Very, very intricate guitar playing in metal. It's almost like the bluegrass of rock. Like lots of heavy picking. And then the instruments are usually like a real fuzzed out, like super saturated guitars, big bass, big drums. You've got breakdowns into 2/4, like dun 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 ga, gun 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 ga, dun dun gun 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 ga, and it goes back into 4/4, like gun 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 ga, dun 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 ga, dun gun dun dun ga, dun dun. Okay, very fast. It's super fast sometimes. It's hardly ever very slow, and it's a lot of screaming. Okay, and then metal. I would say metal is weirdly a lot of like abstract. There's not a lot of concrete imagery in metal singing. Like there's sometimes like, "I've been going down the road, of life." It's like that's kind of abstract. But metal tends to lean on the more abstract ideas and descriptions of things, because like metal in itself is kind of grandiose and kind of fabulous, and so it's like trying to be almost more epic, okay, like an epic poem. Let's talk about the blues, okay? Shit, all you need is the country chords, 1, 4, and 5, but usually they're all 7 chords. So like C7, F7, G7, and then you have a pentatonic scale that you usually solo around. And blues, you can have pianos, you have guitars. I mean, you can play blues on pretty much any instrument, but like in a blues band, you're gonna have primarily the same sort of instruments showing up, bass, and then the bass lines in blues have a flat 7 in it instead of just a walking bass line, like do 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 do. There's the flat 7 note right there, instead of country where it's like country's a little bit more like Western swing, a little bit more straightforward, more of a diatonic bass line, just kind of doing the notes, not really flattening it up, not really bluesing it up. But blues, you got that blues note, okay? And then they're soloing, and then singing, guy or girl, singing about some sad shit. I got the blues. And then sometimes you can have a song in 6/8. Dun 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 dun. I got the blues. Lord, I got the blues. So it just sounds like people working in a field. Like, it sounds very depressing, anyways, let's move on. Jazz. Jazz can be very complex. And there's lots of different kinds of jazz. There's like big band jazz, and there's bossa nova, South American jazz. But you know it because usually there is really interesting chord voicings, okay? You got your major 7s, you got your add 9s, you got 11 chords, 13 chords. You have suspensions, you have diminished, augmented, you got all kinds of add sharps, flat fifths, blah, blah, blah. You know, like, that's usually a lot more interesting of chord voicings, usually, okay? The songs can be very complex, like you can literally play every damn chord in the book, you know, you can throw it all in there. Like, there's some jazz songs that I'm like, I still kind of scratch my head. I'm like, why the hell does that work, you know? But it does, you know, because music is this wonderful, wonderful smorgasbord of creativity. So, usually the instrumentations generally have like a jazzy sound to them. You kind of just know it when you hear it. You know, you can hear Miles Davis wearing these glasses playing his horn, right? And so it can be very complex or it can be very subtle. You know, like the girl from Ipanema. You know, the girl singing that song back in the recording in the '60s, very famous recording, but she's just singing like da 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 da. There's a blues note there. Da 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 ba 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 ba. Oh, and then it switches the chord right there. Anyways, so let's move on. Rap. Okay, rap. A very fun, interesting music in America. Okay, it's mainly beat-driven, beats and lyrics, because the lyrics, like I said, like another instrument in the song, it's like, you know, I can't rap, I suck at rapping, but like, you know, you can listen to Dr. Dre and you can hear like, oh, there's some people thinking of like the beats and the bass lines and stuff, because some people want to dance to rap and you need a bass line and a really strong beat for that, like really interesting. And that's kind of it. I'm probably missing some. Oh, reggae. So reggae is like really laid back. It actually sounds like you're on an island. The bass note usually comes in on 2, not 1. So like 1 would be like boo 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 boo. Reggae is like ga da ba da boom da boom boom bum bum bum. You know, a boom ba boom beep ba da boom boom boom. You know, like there's a little bit of more laid back nature to it. I don't know why they just discovered like, oh yeah, we can go on the 2 too. And then like guitars, keys, you know, reggae music. There's different lyrical content usually. It can be kind of like country, very contextual, very like concrete, like literally concrete. Think of like who, what, when, where, and why when you're writing your lyrics. But reggae, like the guitars, usually more of like a rock sounding guitar. They use saturated amps and gain to their advantage, and then like the guitar is usually really light and very rhythmic. The rhythm guitar is like got on the back on the upstart, the end 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 got baka. All right, kind of a backbeat sort of thing, but very laid back. Okay, Hawaiian music kind of also fits in that category, but Hawaiian music is more of a subculture of folk. Okay, it's Hawaiian folk music. Think about that. All right, the history of it. Old Town Road, not country. All right, you can't just take a bunch of country sounding lyrics like I'm gonna get on my horse, I'm gonna get my boots and my hat, and I'm gonna go down to the old town road. That doesn't make a country song, okay? Everybody in the world said, oh, that's a country song. I was like the only one that was like, this is not country, alright? This is a fucking rap song with country lyrics, country-ish lyrics over the top. And I don't even know every single lyric in it. And I don't care to look at them, but like everybody on TikTok was like wearing their boots and hats and doing like a funny dance to this song. And it's sure, country kids, thinking like a rap song, but it Vegas, please. We'd like more money. So yeah, enough time has passed that you can actually listen to that song again with clarity. Time equals clarity when in a discussion. And I'm just gonna say, August 29, 2024, it was never a country song.